everybody, and welcome to this dad's platinum journey of Resident Evil 3.
Stars.
Did you hear something? No, couldn't be him, right? Anyway, let's be quick and on with the journey.
Resident Evil 3 is a remake of the original from 1999 of the same title. It was originally advertised as Resident Evil Resistance, however, an online multiplayer game set in the Armory universe. However, while the game was shown on a Sony State of Play, it was revealed that the game would also come with Resident Evil 3, the remake. So the remake itself was developed and published by Capcom and featured the highly regarded RE engine which was used in previous Resident Evil games. Upon release in April of 2020, the game scored well, sitting at around 80%. However, fans of the series were a little less forgiving with the game. Its short story, lack of replayability, missing locations and features forced the game to feel, well, underwhelming when compared to the near-perfect Resident Evil 2 remake just a year prior.
Yeah, this game had Buy Me on Sale written all over it for me. With so many great games that were coming out, and even though I'm a fan of the series, I did decide to come back to this at a later date.
And come back to it I did, and it was fantastic. A lovely dose of nostalgia returning back home to Raccoon City. And not to mention, blasting zombies in the head with a shotgun.
Still one of the most satisfying things you can do in gaming. I don't get bored of this.
So let's take a look at the trophy list. And to be honest, this is a trophy hunter's dream. For the platinum, we need to get 4 gold trophies. Simply completing the game on Inferno Mode and another for completing it with an S rank. The other 2 golds are for any difficulty S rank, and the last is for completing the game in under 2 hours, all of which can be earned in one playthrough. Next, we have a lovely bunch of 11 silver trophies. These are for various playthroughs, obtaining all the collectibles, a couple of puzzles, and a couple for combat. And finally, we have 11 bronze for the story-related trophies, and also another 5 bronze for just general gameplay and initial collectibles.
So, on to playthrough number 1. Now, this is an optional playthrough. You could go straight to playthrough number 2 if you want the platinum a little bit quicker. However, with a game that this short, it's nice to get your own blind run, so you're going to get a feel for the game for yourself and not spoil it by checking out any of the trophies. Now, me personally, I like to do a nice, slow run, long play style where I kill all the monsters and get as many of the collectibles as I can, and then I can just do a bit of a mop-up style in the second run.
I'd recommend a standard playthrough here for a silver trophy upon completion. However, if you are new to the game, you can do an assisted playthrough just so you can get used to some of the mechanics and the story itself. Now, you play as Jill Valentine, a STARS member, and Carlos Olivier as a UBCS mercenary, making sure you can get as many civilians out of Raccoon City as possible, but soon turns into a terrifying tale of survival. Now, the game does switch focus and you change characters at various stages of the game. You also traverse through various of locations, moving essentially from one action set piece to another, as the game does centre around a fast-forward, fast-paced manner. Now, a nice addition to the gameplay is the dodge tackle mechanic with Jill and Carlos respectively. It adds some nice tactical defense maneuvers for if you run into trouble. Overall, if you are doing a casual playthrough, it will take you roughly 8 to 10 hours.
And that time is with me looking everywhere for items, clearing the map, making sure that I've searched every nook and cranny for collectibles. So you'll probably get this done a little bit quicker if you're not so thorough like I am.
Along with your 11 bronze trophies for the story, you should also collect basic chemistry for crafting an item. You should get Gunsmith for adding an upgrade to any weapon, get Organised for expanding your inventory, and also Hello Charlie for finding at least one of the Charlie dolls. And finally, if completed on standard, you will get that silver trophy called Survivor.
Once you finish your first playthrough, I'd recommend checking out the records page. Here you'll be able to scroll down and see what kind of objectives, challenges, and playthroughs that are needed in order to get the points required to get those infinite ammo weapons and the buffs for the later playthroughs.
Okay, we're going to give you a little scroll down so you can see what these are like. Now, most are linked to trophies, so you'll automatically get them anyway, but others just require a certain amount of kills with different weapons. These are the ones that offer you big rewards, so focus on these when you're going through your playthroughs, and you better hit the big points that you need to secure those weapons and buffs.
Okay, playthrough number 2. This could be your first one or your second one, depends on how you're playing this game. But either way, this is your let's go and collect everything trophy run. So I used a Power PYX guide for this one because all I needed was to mop up the ones I didn't collect on my first run. So I just looked up which ones I was missing and then I just aimed for those. Do an easy mode run here. Don't muck about with any difficulty. Just get in, get the collectibles and get out again.
The first is your final bronze trophy called Kendo's Armory, and it's simply collecting all the weapons in the game. The first silver trophy, if you haven't already done this, is called Power Stones. This is for collecting the jewels in Raccoon City and placing them into the clock tower puzzle for the rewards. The next silver trophy is called Nemesis Down. Now there are 2 opportunities you need to do this, and both times to take him down have item parts, so make sure you do this at least once for the trophy.
The next 3 trophies are the ones that are stackable. So if you did do an initial playthrough, anything that you collected in that one will be carried over into this one. So just focus on the ones that you've missed. But again, if you are doing a single run playthrough with this, you're going to need that guide to make sure you collect everything and not to miss a single item.
The first is RE Master of Unlocking, and is for unlocking all the safes, lockers, strong boxes, and pickable locks. My advice is once you receive the bolt cutters and lockpick before entering the power station, backtrack through Raccoon City, and secondly, when you retake control of Jill in the hospital, traverse through the area again and make sure you unlock everything. Next is called Goodbye Charlie, and this is for shooting all of the Charlie dolls in the game. And finally, Bookworm. This is for reading all of the files within the game. Towards the end of the game, there is going to be a speed run section. You will need to be able to collect 3 fuses and reinsert them in order for the lift to work. My tip here, save the game prior and just blast your way through with a grenade launcher or a shotgun and, well... I'm so sorry for my outburst there, but anyway, once you're finished with it and you've got the trophy, you could then reload your save and conserve your ammo for later. Lastly, at some point you'll want to try and earn this silver trophy called 2 for 1 deal by defeating 2 enemies at once. If not, don't worry, because you're going to get it with the rocket launcher later.
Wow, that's a lot of trophies down in just those 1 or even 2 playthroughs. So if you can get all of that sorted out, that's everything in game that you need to worry about collecting. So all that's left is just the subsequent playthroughs to get done. Right, on to playthrough number 3, and this is by far my favourite run of the entire Platinum journey. It is the no item box, no health item playthrough. This is a lot of fun.
For this playthrough, I recommend that you go on assisted mode. This is because you will be able to regenerate some health if you do get hit on your playthrough. You are allowed to use 1 health item though. This is, however, forced upon you near the start of the game when you get attacked by the mutant spider. Other than that, don't pick up any health items and just focus on the no box challenge, which is a lot of fun to go through because you need to think about what you need to pick up and be quite scarce with your resource management. On this playthrough, I suggest that you use the shotgun, mainly because of its ability to take out zombies with 1 hit, so you can save up on ammo there. You can give yourself a handgun and give yourself a little bit of set of ammo just as a backup, but other than that, grab the grenade launcher, load up with fire ammo, and just start blasting. During this playthrough, I'd make a tactical save file right before the hospital siege section with Carlos, right after you've cured Jill. You can use this section to grind out overall kills, pistol and machine gun as you rinse your way through a horde of zombies making their way into the hospital. You can rinse and repeat this over and over and over again until you've got enough points for the buffs and unlimited ammo weapons that you need to get. You can also continue on and save it on the Jill section when you can go ahead and use the Magnum and grenade launcher to get her kills up.
Right, okay, now it's time we start tackling those hard modes. First thing we've got to do is hit up hardcore. So this playthrough is going to be exactly the same as your standard playthrough, but it's going to be with tougher enemies, a little less ammo to pick up, less health items, that sort of thing. So you may need to use some of your points here if you haven't already. Now, if you can get the infinite rocket launcher, this is going to make life so easy for you. But I do recommend picking up the defense buffs or the defense coins and also the manual for the sort of increased roll mechanic to get you through this. So if you haven't got enough of the rocket launcher, I'd recommend picking up those items so you can kind of help you in the game a little bit more. If you are stuck for things like ammo, you could pick up the infinite handgun. But if you want to save those points, you could try and do this mode without any infinite ammo at all.
I wish I could have listened to my future self on this one because, well, I decided to pick up an infinite machine gun for this one. As fun as that may sound, and it was a lot of fun blasting away loads of zombies and enemies with it, I didn't have a lot of points left over for the rocket launcher. So when this was done, I had to go and grind out a ton of points again so I could go and get the rocket launcher for Nightmare and Inferno mode because, well, I didn't really fancy the challenge. But get your way through this hardcore mode, you'll earn yourself a lovely silver trophy, which is called Veteran.
From here, you've already finished your hardcore run and moving on to Nightmare mode. Now, I made sure that I had that rocket launcher nailed down. So if you haven't already, grab those points, go back to the hospital siege, complete that section, max out your pistol and your assault rifle points. If you finish that, move on to Jill's section in where you're going to get the fuses inside the warehouse. And you can hit up the Magnum and the grenade launcher for those points if you haven't already got them.
Now, Nightmare mode does pose a few changes to the game. There is a slight selection of different weapons and item places, and also there's going to be some enemy placements that are going to change, and there are going to be more of them, as you can see here. This is right at the start of the game, and there's a lovely bunch of them right there. I'd watch out for hidden ones that are around corners that weren't there previously. Now, they do actually even fall from the sky at points in the game, which is, well, perplexing and, well, poses more challenges as you play onto this mode. But with the rocket launcher in hand, they can make some light work of these guys and make the playthrough a little bit less stressful, earning you the silver trophy Conqueror.
So on to our sixth and final run of this platinum journey, and it is Inferno mode. Now you're going to be draped in gold after this because there are 4 gold trophies on offer here.
The gold trophy for completing Inferno mode is called Dominator. The second by achieving it on S rank is called Jill Valentine. And this is for completing the game in under 2 hours, which is really doable, particularly when you've got the rocket launcher and 5 saves. So spread those out evenly and definitely save one for the final boss, because you're gonna need it.
Yeah, the S rank and the 2-hour time limit may have popped for you on a different playthrough, but to be honest, don't stress about it. If you get them, you get them. But if not, they're gonna pop in this playthrough anyway, regardless.
Now, this mode does provide a few tough sections that you need to get through. The first is at the beginning of the game, before you get to a box to pick up your defense buffs or your regeneration buffs or whatever. Any zombie tag that you do get is going to insta-kill you. The other is at the end of the game, because even though you do have all those buffs and the infinite rocket launcher, this boss is no pushover. This thing will insta-death you, and it will grab you and kill you instantly. So be prepared for a mighty challenge here.
And I died a lot.
Okay, let's try this again. Get that weapon. Let's see if we can take him down. You got to get the dodge. Ah, died again. Died again. He stuns and he kills you again and again and again. And remember, if you do die, you have to quit to the main menu and then reload. If you continue, you will be losing a lot of time. But finally, you get that dodge mechanic nailed down, use the slowdown, you get a nice perfect shot on those pods. So you get the shots in and take him down. Dodge the gas because it does stun. Get quickly over to push the thing in so we can get the energy to get the ultimate gun to take him on. Now he was already getting up here and I was getting nervous and I just legged it. I had it finished and then wham! He hits me. Get the gun just in time. Luckily that wasn't an insta-kill because I was absolutely shaken at this point. Take the gun, fire off the shot, and this was actually super satisfying after a tough boss battle. Taking this thing forward, jamming it there. That R2 button, so satisfying to press to blow the whatever out of him. And that is the end of the game. Obviously, don't shoot Carlos. Get yourself all the way up to here, and so long, RC.
So on to the review of the game. And as a fan of Resident Evil, I think that slightly dampens my expectations of this game a little bit. Now, I played the original, and there's a few things that are sort of missing in there. And the main thing for me is the choice mechanic. Now, comparing this game to RE2, you know, you shouldn't really try and do that. But if you're going to compare the two, there's no comparison. RE2 Remake is just a stellar experience. What makes it really good, I think, sometimes is the fact that you've got different playthroughs to do. So even though you're doing relatively the same thing, it feels a bit fresh because you've got different characters and you've got different things to go through when you play it. With RE3, it's the same game and you're playing 6 playthroughs of it. If there had been a choice mechanic in that, it could have made the playthroughs a little bit fresher, a little bit more engaging to make different choices, to see what alternatives could be made while doing that. And I think even just having some trophies related to the different outcomes would have been a really nice experimentation and a real great way to get a little bit more length out of the game. This is a polished game. Like graphically, the environments, the character models, it looks gorgeous. The RE engine is superb. It's a really, really great game engine. It provides some lovely sort of flow into the game. It really makes everything. You haven't got like loading screens or anything like that. It's really, really smooth. And it does flow very, very nicely. The characters are great. Jill in particular is just superb. She's a badass in this game. She's wicked to play as. Her dodge mechanic is a really nice touch on the gameplay. It gives you a little bit of strategy to think about how you can kind of get through some of the more challenging parts to it. Carlos as well is really cool. He has some cracks in his sort of personality, which, you know, they start coming across like sort of pretty early on in the game. He admires Jill, and I like that balance between the two characters, that she's really the more experienced one and he's the one who really looks up to her and wants to kind of help and, you know, help out the cause overall. He's quite noble in his sort of mindset. The story, I mean, I spoke about the story. It's a little short. There are things missing in it. So the game doesn't really live up to a little bit of expectation. Maybe that's on me, maybe not, but it doesn't live up to it. It goes from sort of set piece to set piece to set piece. And it's quite fast paced as you move through the game. And because of that, Nemesis doesn't really have a lot of impact in it. Not compared to like previous iterations like 7 and RE2 Remake. Because particularly Mr. X, when he turns up, it really feels like it ups the suspense and tension. Even though you've done that part several times, he still causes a lot of trouble. And he has that impact and suspense around him being in the RPD. But here the Nemesis doesn't really have that. He sort of turns up, it's a set piece, it's a boss battle, you move on. you don't really get that feel. Even quite early on in the game, when he's chasing you around Raccoon City, you don't really feel that suspense as much. So yeah, his character doesn't really fulfill the job role that it's sort of there to do, which is to provide suspense through the game. You know, the original does it very, very well. He turns up multiple times. You've got a choice to make, whether you fight him or you run. And that would have made the game a lot better for me if you had the opportunity to stop and fight or choose a path to run. And that would have been really, really cool. The shot mechanic actually helps the replayability slightly. It gives you rewards for obviously the more times you play it. So as you play along the game, you start unlocking things. You're able to get buffs and infinite ammo to actually make the gameplay a little bit more rewarding and fun towards the end of it. So that part is really the only thing that helps the replayability, because getting that infinite rocket launcher and start blasting away zombies is actually loads of fun. Onto the Platinum Trophy itself. The Platinum is actually quite fun. It really enhances the game in total, and it gives you rewards for playing on the different modes. Because otherwise, if I didn't have that trophy list there, I probably wouldn't bother, to be honest. I would have played the game maybe once or twice, and then maybe left it alone. But the other playthroughs, they kind of give you those rewards for it. And to be honest, the trophy that's my favourite trophy of all is the no item box, no health item run that you do in the game. That forces you to play the game slightly differently and is super duper fun. Again, would have liked to have seen more trophies centered around that, but that is by far my most fun one. The trophies aren't that difficult to get in the majority of them. You know, the collectibles are the collectibles. Do a couple of runs, you'll get the majority of them if you search well enough. If you're missing a few, you know, get a guide and polish those off in a separate run. There's nothing really there that's going to be overly difficult. The most difficult thing is the S rank Inferno, or just Inferno in general. Do try and do them in one run. Time isn't really a factor if you've got the rocket launcher, but that final boss does do you in if you're not getting that dodge mechanic down correctly. So get the manual if you need it. Helps you with your dodge rolling. Make sure you're buffed up on your defense to make sure that you can take a hit. But to be honest, it's insta-death with that thing. He really does do you in all the time. So that can cause a little bit of problems towards the end of it. But that's really kind of the only hard part. And, you know, that may take you, you know, 5, 10, 15, maybe 20 minutes like to kind of get past him. But other than that, it's not a particularly difficult platinum to get. It took me around, I think it was 27 hours on the clock. So around 25 to 30 hours would be your time on completing that. You could probably do it quicker if you had a guide for the initial run and not to worry too much about a solo playthrough by yourself. So you could probably get this in under 20 hours if you really wanted to just blast out the platinum and just get it done. Game is okay. It's fine. The game is all right. There's nothing special like to it. I will be going back to RE2 even though I've platinumed it, but I probably won't be going back to RE3 anytime soon unless I really want to do some sort of marathon there and play the game again. But the platinum is worth doing. You get some gold trophies in there. It's a quick platinum. It's a cool game. It's okay. You'll have a bit of fun with it. When you unlock some of the buffs and the infinite ammo, you'll have some fun with the rocket launcher. But yeah, that's about it. Anyway, don't forget to like, subscribe to my content if you like these sorts of videos. Give me some comments down below if you've got any feedback for me. Always happy to read those. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter @thisplatinum. You'll be able to find some news on there. I do some live streams as well as these videos, and playthroughs will be uploaded as well. Have a super cool day, team, and I will see you on the next video. Take care. Goodbye.
Stars.
Shoot, he's...